Do you ever wake up with like a case of the fuck-arounds and none of your vehicles really match the vibe? The Valkyrie's too heavy, the Blackbird is too fast and wants to murder you. All of your four-wheeled objects have too many wheels. Just none of the keys you go to grab on the way out the door scream to the world that you're a little bit sillier a goose than the day before. But because I have what my therapist calls a fucking problem, we bought a new toy. So this is an 85 Honda Elite 150, and it is in prime shape. You can tell it's, oh hey, stay in there. You know, most of the panels are mostly attached. This guy falls off if you look at it too hard. The headlight doesn't seem to pop up at the moment. We'll see about that. But for the most part, today we're just trying to get it roadworthy. I want to ride this today. It almost runs. Let's look at the work list. If you take a quick glance at my work listy, you can probably guess some of the medications I don't take as prescribed. We're gonna add to that. Get it to run, and then, what else did I say? Ride it. That's the work list. That's it. That's the whole work list. To ride it. Let's see what it takes to do that. First step, if we turn the key on down here, we don't get anything because it doesn't have a fucking battery in it. Weird. We're gonna try out this Mighty Max battery. I particularly am annoyed with motorcycle batteries in general because they're always like giant pieces of shit. I already ordered one and it was the wrong size. This one should be the right size, but I haven't actually checked to see if it fits in there yet. That's what you get, a little $30 gel battery from Mighty Max Battery. Let's see if it works.
Is there a huge difference in the price?
Yeah, the ones from the dealership are like 90, 100 bucks for no reason, and they suck. And you have to like fill them with acid.
It's like a goddamn pilgrim.
Oh yeah, we can convince that to fit in there. It'd be neat if this thing just starts right up. I don't even know if it's got gas in it.
You haven't tried to jump it?
I haven't. Well, I tried putting my jump box on it the day we bought it before we put it on the trailer, and it didn't respond to that at all. Without having a battery hooked up, it didn't like that.
Gas tank looks okay.
I actually haven't looked in there. Look, I don't know how much research you think I do on these things. I saw an object that used to be shiny on Marketplace. It doesn't even have to be a shiny object. If it looks like it might have once been shiny, bruh. There we go. It's a lot easier with a 10 mil than with a screwdriver. All right, let's see if that does anything. Let's turn the key. Hey, oh man, look. We got a Poppy up and downy. Oh man.
Oh, that's nice.
That's the best.
And your lights are working up here?
That one's working. Hey, this one's working too. Hell yeah. Are the back ones working? Tail light's on. Tag light is on.
I'm just kidding. Shut up.
Why is that so loud? Why is that louder than a car? Right one's good? Hell yeah. We're missing the lenses, but legally they're functional. All right, let's see if it starts. It appears to start like a normal motorcycle, so we got it on run. Oh, I remember. You have to hold the foot brake in order to start it. No fucking way! All right, we're close. It might almost run. Let's see if, I don't know how to tell if there's even a choke or something on it. And it also immediately smells like gas in here. Let's take a look and see what's in the gas tank. There's a good bit of something in there. And it does smell fine. I wouldn't blame it being full of bad gas. I don't know how long this thing sat. Also, the seat doesn't appear to latch. It just kind of bounces. There's a hook here that should catch something that's missing right here. Yeah, there should be a metal rod right here that's missing some kind of catch. It's not like it can fly off, it's hinged at the front. Let's see if it'll start on starting fluid. We got fluid. Where's the go-go juice? Where's the intake? I know nothing about this thing. Well, the exhaust is on this side, so maybe some of these holes up here, that might be an air box, and that's the intake. Let's spray in there and see what happens. Almost. It almost runs. It would appear that we do have a fuel delivery issue. Could be carb related, but it also has been sitting I don't know how long. So I'm just gonna keep doing a few cycles of starting it on fluid and see if it eventually will stay running. Let off of it. Maybe get these side covers off of here and see if we can find the carb. I'm gonna reckon a quick cracking open of the carb and at least checking the float bowl and stuff would be a good idea. So let's do that. Let's figure out how to get in here. Tightening up a rogue random bolt that I found loose. The guy that I got this from had been heavily messing with it right before I bought it, trying to get it to run right. And we're seeing evidence of that. The carburetor's right in here though. Pretty easy access. I want to start with just trying to adjust the idle screw. It's right front and center right here. So we got an idle screw right here. I want to see if maybe we can just mess with that and get it to come up. That's about 3 whole turns in on it. Let's see if that does anything. Let's try some more. Again. All right, nothing obvious there. I'm gonna put it back to where it was. Now, he was talking about having fuel delivery issues, and that's why some of these lines over here are kind of all over the place and have some weird valves in line. Like this one right here is turned off. The line that he's got on here is not even clamped on good. And doesn't appear to be flowing, which checks out because it's closed. But I don't know what it's going to. Let's try with it disconnected on the off chance that this is like a vacuum line or something. Nope, so that might be a fuel supply line, but let's hook it back up and try it with it open and see what happens. Well, it did something interesting. Let's pop this back off and see if it looks like anything flowed through here. Oh yeah, that's dripping. Don't know if it should be. Don't know what it goes to. Also, we have fuel dripping, like actively running out of it down here. So let's turn this back off. Wherever that's going is not ideal. Don't really want to pull this carb all the way off, but we might need to. See if I can find any diagrams on how these fuel lines are supposed to look. So we spent a little while looking at diagrams and stuff, and this thing has been pretty heavily fucked with over the years. But we decided that the floats are probably sticking and causing everything to just flood with way too much gas. It wants to leak gas onto the floor. And it's also flooding the cylinder, the worst I've ever seen. That is a lake of gas just hanging out, going into the cylinder. Oh, I bet if we turn it over, it'll do something funny. This thing is having a really weird day. It doesn't know what to do with the amounts of fuel that it's getting in all different directions. So we're gonna take this cute carburetor apart, see if the floats are just really stuck. That's my best guess. I don't know much about carbs. I just know that floats can stick, and that could be a thing that could cause this kind of thing. So let's see what's inside of here. Not seeing anything obvious in here that would tell me that it's not stuck. It bounces very freely. Nothing gummy or dumb in here in general. Probably one of the best bowls I've ever opened. And I hate that. I hate that there's not an obvious problem. Just gonna give it a decent cleaning best I know how, and then try to get this thing sealed back up some. The gasket is hard. We'll see if we can get it to seal back up and give it another shot. I don't know much about carburetors, so best I can do is just kind of clean them up and give them my version of clean, and we'll see if maybe we just put it back together with love, and that makes it run. It's a very simple carburetor, and not a whole lot to go wrong. The one thing we found was this pilot jet that was absolutely completely obstructed. Couldn't punch through it at all. No light. Had to make a needle out of another carb needle. Had to grind it down super fine to be able to punch through this thing, but finally got it to where we can see light through this needle. And everything else actually looked perfectly fine. All the diaphragms are intact. Got no other reason that this thing wouldn't have worked properly, but I'm not very good at carbs. So we're just gonna slap it back together and see if it does anything different now. That's about all I got. Hey, what's the spring go to? Fuck. I think that's everything hooked back up, all of the fuel lines and everything. I'm gonna realign fuel and see if it flows. Yeah, let's send it, let's see what it does. I don't see fuel coming from anywhere that it shouldn't, but I also don't think fuel is flowing. Our filter hasn't filled up yet, so I don't think we're getting gas. Now, we've got fuel coming from places that fuel shouldn't come from. It kind of runs, but I think it'll very quickly not run again. There is fuel coming from all kinds of places in there. Woo. It's not ideal. I think it's mostly coming out of that, and I don't know why. And what I think is happening is that this petcock has failed. So new petcock's on the way, and we're not gonna be riding this thing today. In the meantime, we can address a couple of the other roadworthy issues that it has, starting with these tires. Squish, squish, squish. They don't hold air at all. Probably haven't held air in a really long time. We will see what the date code is on them when we get them off. First, we just have to figure out how to get scooter wheels off to replace the tires. I've never done that before, and I mean, how bad could it be? Surely it's not gonna be a pain in the ass.
That goes through there.
Yeah, this is a pain in the ass.
Just pull your wheel off.
Oh yeah? Just pull your wheel off? We got it off, trying to figure how old this thing might be. And it's old enough that it's not the standardized date code. It gives a code of DOT ending in 8349 here, which to my knowledge would mean the 83rd week of 1949. But for multiple reasons, I don't think that's accurate. What I did find was that date codes before 2000 would use just the last three, which would indicate that this was the 34th week of 1999. But that still seems too old. I figured these are 10 or 15 years old, not like 25 years old. I don't know. If you know how to tell, leave me a comment, let me know. But they're certainly a little dry rotted and they don't hold air anymore. So, let's put something better on it.
I've got something a whole lot scarier.
Look at that knobby boy. And in case you were worried about the quality of a $30 Amazon tire, it actually reassures you in text on the sidewall. There's no question about it. It's a good tire. Let's get these things on here, see if we can wrestle this old one off. It's been a while since I did a small tire like this, but luckily the bead is already popped for us. So that helps. Yeah, this should only be a minor pain in the ass. Clean this wheel up while we have it off too. I kind of like this. It's almost like a rotary inspired design. I like the 3-spoke. And where the brakes sit inside of the drum is actually not awful. There was a little bit of a lip carved into it, and I think that's why we had to kind of beat it off.
With both hands, what's up? Let's go.
But not bad. Yeah, let's see if we can get this tire off of here. I put knobbies on Sky's Grom like 5 years ago, so we already got a set of boys. Let's see if we can get in here. And then get it up and over on the other side. Something like that. Yay! Stay down there. It's okay, this is easy. You can do your own tires at home. I promise. Oh yeah, we're moving now. Woo! There we go. Once you get it started though, it's easy. There we go. There's one side. Easy day. like a professional. Bring all your tire mounting needs, bring them to me. This other side doesn't appear to be off of its bead yet though. Ow. Yeah, here we go. That popped. Yep, off bead. And then just the same thing, just up and over. This is gonna try to hurt me, isn't it? Should I have like sprayed something to try to like lube this off? Where's the soapy water? If I was my bottle of soapy water, where would I have cleaned myself up to? That's probably fine. We don't need that. When we go to put the one back on here, we're gonna wanna do that. I actually don't really know how to attack the back bead. Can't really get a bite from that side. Try it yourself at home, kids. Hey, did we check that these are the right size? I never verified these new tires are the right size. These are a 3.5 10, and our new quality tire is also a 3.5 10. Oh yeah, way better. I think we should find the soapy water to get this on there though. There we go, easy days. Just gonna slide right on there. Whoop. Yep. Ooh. One side over. Yeah. Woo. No. Boop. Neat. Let's see if it takes air. Ideally, we would rush it with a lot of air to try to pop the beads on, but I'm confident that they're close enough and they'll just pop. Wrong! Well, that means we get to do it the fun way. That didn't work like it was supposed to, actually. Let's try it with the big girl. Whew. That one has enough airflow to do it. All right. I didn't replace the valve stem on it because I didn't feel like it. So just hit it with some soapy water, make sure it doesn't look like it's leaking, and I'll be all right with it. Yeah, I don't see any leaks. Looks good to me. Rear all went back together pretty easy. And the front wheel comes off easy, but front tire is not coming off. We have been fighting this bead for quite some time.
I don't say fuck very often, but fuck.
About to resort to cutting it off. It's just awful. I'll show you why once we get it off of here. Yeah, so the bead on this one was completely just rust welded all the way around. Whole inside of the wheel is just solid rust. Fun fact, that's not an ideal bead. So maybe these tires are 25 years old. We get this one cleaned up and scrubbed down and probably wire wheeled and maybe a coat of paint along the inside of it or something. Jesus Christ. Spent about 30 minutes chiseling rust and wire wheeling over it a bunch of times. That should be decent enough to hold a bead again. Better not replace the valve stem while we're in here though. Yeah, no, that was a bitch. The back one wasn't so bad, but this front one, I guess it's 50-50 using these little $20 Amazon tire irons. Come in with your Amazon tire irons and a decent size hammer, thinking you're Hemi Turner, and just have at it. You might not have a good time. Yeah, I'm just gonna hit it with some silver, this caliper paint. It's not really context appropriate, but it'll do. I'm getting tired, man. I've been fighting with this for too long. But luckily, we're almost done today. We'll slap this wheel back on, and then we're waiting till whenever the petcock shows up. That'll be the end point for today, though, just getting this tire back on. Actually, might just paint this wheel and get the tire on tomorrow so the paint has time to dry. I don't know. I don't know anything. I just work here. Simple man. I see a vehicle for $400, I throw it on my trailer and take it home and fuck with it. There's no need to overthink it. And you can too, if you try hard and believe in yourself. You can just have a bunch of various wheeled objects sitting around that some of them run and some of them are just there for the vibes, you know? That ought to do. Let that dry overnight, slap a new tire on, and then also maybe the petcock will be here and we can get this thing running. Whoosker-doo.
Just want you to stop saying odd shit.
All right, it's been a day or two. We got our new petcock in the mail. Time to get this tire on, everything all back together. And I kind of just wanted to be over with, so put it on, put it on, put it on. Getting the wheels off of this thing and changing scooter tires, fucking easy day. And now that it's all back together, we can talk about this fuel delivery issue. So off the bottom of the gas tank, this is the valve that allows fuel to flow to the carburetor. And it's supposed to have a fuel line that goes from here to the carb and a vacuum line here that senses that the engine is running and opens this valve for fuel to flow. It's meant to be some kind of safety device for like when the bike tips over and the engine stops running, it makes it stop supplying fuel. And I think the one that's on the bike is fucked up in several directions. For one, both of these lines coming off of the petcock, the fuel and the vacuum, both of those lines put fuel out, and that should not be allowed to happen. And that's a way that this can fail. It's a diaphragm operated vacuum valve in there, and if that diaphragm tears open or something, that can be a thing that makes it put fuel out of both and makes it not work properly. Another thing is that they have it plumbed backwards. The fuel is tapped to the vacuum line and the vacuum is tapped to the fuel line. So I think this petcock failed. The last person that was messing with it, trying to get it to run, just started playing with lines and hooking them up to different things to see if they could make something work, and I guess it turned out that the vacuum line leaked more gas than the gas line, so they ran with it in that way and it still didn't run quite right. I don't know, but it reinforces my idea that this $12 petcock right here is the thing it takes to make this thing run again. So let's get it on there. So this silver guy right here, that's our petcock. We gotta get it out of there spilling as little gas as possible. I think I'm actually gonna try to unbolt the tank. It looks like it unbolts pretty easy with just 4 bolts, and we can take it off and dump it out instead of dumping the petcock out. That sounds really messy. So let's see if we can do that. Okay, maybe that'll come free now. Hell yeah, brother. What a little bud of a gas tank. Oh, hey. Good timing. I was just about to make a huge mess. Bring that mixing cup next to the grinder. Yeah. No, there wasn't nothing in there anyway. Now we can just replace the petcock with it right side up. Does this one thread on there? That doesn't look like that thread's on there. Easy fix.
Is it?
Yeah, we just don't run a petcock. So the new petcock that we ordered doesn't actually fit this tank. I'm gonna go to the hardware store and see if we can figure something different.
Eventually.
All right, we made it back from Menards. Got a bunch of stuff that I think is gonna improvise what we're trying to do here really good. Just trust the process. We're replacing all this old line. So we got some new line, got our fuel filter. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go from this barb. Which way does fuel flow in these things? So we're gonna get a few inches. We're gonna be going from that barb fitting there, and then we're gonna do our filter. And with that rigged up to the bottom of the tank, using a little bit of 3/8 fuel hose as a coupler. It's a really tight friction fit to get those to butt into each other, so I don't see a need for a hose clamp on there. And also, I don't have a hose clamp that fits it. So we got our line going down to the carb. Once this is in place, we'll clip this wherever it needs to be, attach it to the filter. And I also made a blank for the little vacuum line that would have been going to the petcock. And based on the little bit that I saw on scooter forums, which I'm a member of now, fun fact, I'm a scooter forum people, this should theoretically work. Let's flip it over, connect the lines, and put a little bit of gas in it to see if any of this leaks or if anything funny happens. Ka-chow. So our fuel line needs to be this long right here. I am having to heat these lines a little bit to get them to slip over the fittings. They're just slightly a wrong size, I guess, but Should still be big enough to flow the amount that we need to. Who's to say that the lines were on it were correct to start with? So it's a $400 scooter, you know? What's the funniest thing that could happen? All right, that looks like a complete fuel system to me. I'm not gonna bolt down the tank just yet, but let's put some gas in it, see if anything funny happens. We don't have a shut-off valve anymore, so. Oh, fucking hate this shit. When is Donnie T gonna write the executive order to get rid of these motherfuckers? That's like a quart, and we do have fuel showing in the filter. And it seems to be doing so without any leaks. Are we ready to try to start this thing? Let's do a quick once over and make sure we're ready to start this. We've got some gas in the tank, some also all outside of the tank thanks to this dumbass nozzle. We've got a fuel line with fuel showing in the filter. So fuel is getting down into the carb. We lopped off our vacuum line. Throttle is reconnected. Vacuum lines are all reconnected. The air intake isn't all put back together yet. I haven't put the air box back on, but I think it's ready to start. Let's give it a shot. Let's try a little bit of juice. We might have did it. Let's see if it'll come down and idle.
That stuff's adjustable though, right?
Ain't no chance it's gonna idle. Whew, good start.
Was that
Yeah, that was it.
You
It is, to some extent, it is running and pulling its own fuel from the tank.
smoky in here?
Idle is nowhere near happening, but
Why is it smoky?
because it's a fucking... the idle adjustment screw is right down in here. I really want to hear this thing idle on its own. So let's give that a few spins and see what happens. Okay. Well, that certainly didn't make it start on its own. And we finally killed this battery. So I'm gonna throw it on charge and let it air out in here.
The next morning.
Figured I'd go ahead and change the oil since we're pretty close to running this thing, and pretty gross. It's like straight gas. Kind of figured because all of that gas was dumping into the cylinder that it probably was just going right into the oil. It just pours like water. That's not what your oil is supposed to look like, fun fact. But like most Hondas, this just takes 10W40, so I'm gonna top it off and see if we can run this thing. God, that just smells like gas now. I just poured out gas. I feel like I should flush some of it. Yeah, flush a little bit more of that shit out of there. But I think it's gonna run. You can tell I lost my voice because of all the fumes. Woo! All right, let's see what we get. Yeah, almost an idle. Woo! Good. At least the idle screw is really easy to get to. There we go. That sounds like a happier idle, right?
Sounds pretty good.
I think it runs. That's a decent response to wide open throttle on a small carb like that. That's not bad. We don't need all the plastics for a test ride, but we can put the seat back on and see if this thing rides. Here we go. It's got no brakes at all. Oh God. Woo, I'm about to break my butt. Hey, did you know it's like negative 17 today? I need to close my face shield. My eyes are freezing. Woo. I don't want to go too far because I don't want to have to push it back if this thing dies. It fucking runs! If you want to see more of this dumb shit, feel free to subscribe. If you really think it's fun and dumb, feel free to join the pit crew. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time!
Go faster, ayy. Speed it up.
speed it up, speed it up, speed it up.